But I feel like with most things, it doesn't matter if it comes to money, like health, politics in certain situations, or a bunch of shit. It doesn't matter what it is, any topic. I feel like most of the issues or like the discrepancies between people is caused by like overall uneducation on certain topics, and like people just don't know certain stuff. You know what I mean?
I don't
I like some people don't
don't
know
know.
what their macro breakdown should be. Some people don't understand macros. I hardly knew. Like in high school, I didn't think, like growing up, I never thought of that at all. The first thing I ever started looking at when it came to nutrition facts was calorie intake. That was it. And I mean, I guess that's a basic thing, but I didn't understand what carbs did, what the point of it. I didn't know, like I know the scientific percentage of like how much calories and how much energy it takes for your body to break down the three different macros. And like,
Yeah, so I see your point. Um, and yes, I agree with that to a point. But um, I'm trying to think of how to say this because I want to say it in a more positive way. But it's like, so people could use that, and yes, some people are not educated on the macros and stuff. But I mean, people still know that if they're getting a Big Mac at McDonald's and a large Coke, that is unhealthy.
well,
Like,
yeah, I
correct.
mean,
And
I
so
would think
doing
so.
stuff
Yeah.
like that every day, and like most people, I would say a good 95% of people know that, like, well, if I'm eating
And
these greasy cereal, sugar fueled
yeah.
food every single day, that this is not healthy
Did you
and
say
this is what make
cereal?
me gain, yeah, cereal. Like
Oh.
Frosted Flakes and fruit, whatever.
Wait,
I don't even, I
yeah.
haven't had cereal in so long. Cereal is really good though. Like
Yeah.
it's really freaking good.
I want to try Magic Spoon. Have you heard
I
of
do
it?
too. I've seen a lot of
Yeah.
ads about that. But back to it, it's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
even if you are not fully educated on the macros and like what carbs do to the body and what you know, all that,
Yeah, I mean
you
that
still
was a very
know
in
that
depth. Yeah,
an
but yeah.
apple is more healthy than a donut.
True, but the thing that I've realized also reading what is it called? The Power of Habit, that book, which I still
Mm,
got to finish it. I'm so close to being done, and I just haven't sat down and knocked it
yeah,
out. But like part of it isn't, honestly, there's so many things that I've realized, especially with that and knowing some stuff, like learning stuff in psychology and certain things. Like there is so much of a person's everyday that some people aren't like it's not conscious decisions. Some of it is definitely made up by how society enables it, and
hmm
like psychology that companies use to try getting people in, and advertisements, and like it's an uphill battle. Like the game is played against you because of marketing and corporate greed, which is fair. You got to have corporate stuff in general to keep everything rolling, but and then not only that, part of it I feel like is like also the way you're raised and the habits you form really young
that
that have such a large impact in the long
that is
run.
true. That is very very true.
And
A
then
lot
just
of people,
convenience.
yeah, I mean, our society is built for they want to make everything more convenient. Like everything
Which
is.
I can't deny, I like convenience too, but
I like it too. It saves me a lot of time.
yeah.
Like it
It
saves
just
me
depends on what it is.
like time is money. Time is so valuable, and so that is very valuable today. And I feel like what a lot of companies and what society does anymore is they're like, we want you to be as comfortable as possible. Um, and so they make everything as convenient and as lazy as possible. Um, which is like it's a smart business move, like DoorDash, um,
Hmm.
like just everything. Like with all the supermarkets now, where you can just drive up. Um, you place your order up, you drive up, and then they just like toss it in the back of your car. You pay, and then you drive off. Super convenient,
True.
but I mean,
And I don't think that stuff's bad. It's just like
I
people
don't
need to
think
understand.
so
People have to
either.
have a balance. Like people gotta
But I mean, if you
like
make that your habits, where
yeah,
everything is
no, no,
just
true.
convenience,
Yeah,
and you're
yeah.
not taking the 10-20 minutes to walk inside a grocery store, look people in the eye, talk to people, and walk around getting exercise, I feel like that can have an impact on you, especially if you have kids and you're doing all that, and your kids are just in
Mm-hmm.
front of a. I don't have kids, so maybe again I'm just talking out my butt. But man, I'm going on a tangent. I am sorry. It's just society is very, very um, lazy anymore, and it's very sad to see that.
Yeah. It's and I feel like it's like most of the stuff we see nowadays, like everything that's happened is because of like 2 generations ago. Like it all started back in the 50s when the first fast food restaurant like opened, and then that kind of like started to become a thing, and then people got into it, and then it became like a treat, and then it became so common that it was so easy to do that then like the generation before us, like my parents and certain people now in the early 2000s and 90s, especially in the middle class, like it became so easy to just go out and eat at like a fast food restaurant in particular, like
Hmm.
let's just say McDonald's, because it's one so cheap and two it's
Yeah,
so easy.
it's
And
super easy. I mean, if you have like a
it
big family and like
yeah,
you're busy,
food's expensive.
why
That
you go
too.
to through McDonald's drive-through,
You
you
can get
spend ten
you can get like
bucks,
15 burgers for
you
$20.
feed all your little kids.
Yeah.
But what is more like what is the how do I put this in words that are intelligent? Um, what's
Yeah.
more valuable? Taking that 5 minutes, and now you have more time to go do something else, or
Mhm.
spending maybe 30 to 45 minutes, um, you know, buying food and then cooking with your family. So now you
True.
have quality time, you have more healthy food. Um, so now it's not just bettering your health, but your family's health, and you're
It'll be better
connecting
on your
with your whole
mental health.
family.
Yeah, like
It's just
there's a lot
like,
of plus sides, and like that's the thing with that book I read on habit. It's like with how they made it sound and how the studies have shown, it seems like you can't just remove a habit. Like that's not
no,
possible. The only way you can
it,
like you can change habits and you rewrite them to end up doing something else, but you can never get rid of habits. Like that's something that's impossible. Like part of the studies that they talk about and reference, I was so like dumbfounded, but I was like, it makes so much sense. It's like with certain habits, there's so many things that you don't even realize that after you've done it so long, that the whole point the brain does this is like the first few times you do something, like the first few times you drive or the first few times you do something new, your brain is super activated because it's nothing it's done before. Like they've done brain studies to actually map the brain as they do this,
mm-hmm,
and it's like flaring everywhere and firing all sorts of neurons in your body, trying to understand and take in all the information and see what needs to be done. And then it's like you do it again and you do it again, and what keeps happening over time, you'll get to the point where the brain will hardly ever, like if they do the same thing later on and they do the same scans, the brain and the neurons hardly fire, because basically it's like your body is trying to find ways to make it easier, conserve energy, make it less
exactly.
stressful, and just become something that's more natural. So it gets to the point where the brain basically puts what you're doing on the back burner because it's done it so many times, it just automatically does it. and you don't even realize, you don't have to think about it, and then you can use that brain power and that time and that energy and put it into like something else. So it's like you don't have to think about how to back out of your driveway every day because you've done it so many times. You just do it.